to an inclusive playground in the neighborhood to get some footage for Fast Break. As you can tell, it is a lovely day. Probably won't have to get any release form signed. Okay, so it's pretty tough to talk about the benefits of an inclusive playground when it's pouring down rain and there's no one here. Let's try this a different way. Here are 5 ways to make any playground more inclusive. Starting with 0G swing seats. There are versions for ages 5 to 12 and 2 to 5. The high back, side wings, and locking front harness provide extra support for children who need it. And it allows all children to swing together on the playground. And at less than $500, this is perfect for a PTA or PTO that wants to raise money quickly to make a playground more inclusive. Next, sensory wave climbers. There are 5 different models, the most popular of which is the sensory wave arch. There's plenty of options for auditory, visual, or tactile sensors, including sensors with adaptive switches. There are handholds and grip areas to make it easy to move through the climber, and the front reach design makes it easy for people using a mobility device to interact with the sensors. It's the only climber of its kind, and it only requires about 400 square feet to install. The sensory cove climbers are a great way to provide sensory relief on the playground. They're a social gathering spot, or they're an area for children to observe play before deciding to join in. And all of these elements are really important when planning an inclusive playground, and the sensory cove climbers provide all 3 in 2 different compact and affordable styles. The merry-go-all is still one of my favorite inclusive play activities. And this is one of the many products we have that's been awarded an Able Play rating by Lekatech, the nation's central source on inclusive play. The seats are all just the right height, so it's easy for people who use a mobility device to transfer into the merry-go-all. The forward-facing design allows users to see one another during play. The center post is stationary, so users can turn themselves or someone can spin the whirl from the outside. Finally, the sensory spinning seat is the most fun you can have in the smallest possible space, and it's packed with inclusive play benefits. The high back seat and the side arm rails provide additional trunk support, and it's available with an optional 5-point harness. The seat is at transfer height, and since it requires another person to spin the seat, it automatically creates opportunities for social and cooperative play. Hello, inclusion. Here's my point. You don't have to have tons of space or a massive budget to build an inclusive play environment. With a little planning and a little thought, you can get past your space limits and your budget limits. You can create a place where play has no limit.